All right, so let's get started by creating the Redis database that we're going to use throughout all this series. So this is important because the same Redis database we're going to use for all the examples that we're going to develop with LangChain, right? So for this series, you're going to have a couple options to create a Redis database. The number one, if you want to work with Redis running locally in your machine, you can use the Docker Compose file that is contained in the GitHub repository that comes with the series. The link is on the description of this video. The second option, and the one that I would highly recommend it for you to use, is using a database from Redis Cloud. I'm going to show you how to create one from scratch right now. And this option is interesting because, think about it, you don't have to have Docker or absolutely anything installed in your machine locally, and it's going to free you up for focusing on what matters, which is how to develop applications using LangChain, right? So, and also there's a very important trick, which is the way I'm going to show how to create a database here, you won't have to pay a single dime for Redis because it's going to be a free database, right? Which is always cool. So go to cloud.redis.io, and then if you don't have an account created yet, just click here on this sign up option, and then you're going to be forwarded to create an account from scratch. If you have an existing Google or GitHub account, you can use them to actually perform a single sign-on authentication and create that account. I'm actually creating myself one using GitHub, so I'm going to click on GitHub to be SSO forward, if that's even an expression, to my Redis Cloud account. So I'm currently logged in, and if you don't have any databases created, you are going to be presented with this new blue shiny button here called New Database, which is you are going to use to create a database right now. So I'm going to click on New Database, and then I am going to show the trick that I've mentioned before for you to don't pay a single dime for this database. Here on the subscription options, you're going to be presented with some of them that's going to be called Redis Flags, Essentials, and Pro, right? You are going to select this Essentials one that, as you can see here, you are going to pay $0 per month, right? If you select the appropriate database time that I'm going to show you in a minute. If you scroll down in a bit, you are going to set a couple options. If you are not satisfied with the name automatically generated for you, you can change app. I'm going to change mine. I'm going to call LangChain apps with Redis. And then you can pick up one of the cloud vendors available, either AWS, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure, right? Once you select the cloud vendor, you are going to select the region where your database is going to be executed. In my case, I'm going to settle with North Virginia, which is close where I live. And then make sure that you have this option RedStack selected, right? So why this is important? Because this is the option that is going to offers you the ability to work with vectors in JSON documents and all the goodies from the Redis database community edition, right? So in terms of database type, right, you're going to see here that you have a bunch of options available for the Essential subscription, and you're going to pick this first one called 30 megabytes, which, as you can see here, is the one that is free, right? So what are the characteristics of this database? Well, as the name implies, you are going to have a database whose data set size is going to grow up to 30 megabytes, right? To which, for demonstration, experimentations, POCs even, purposes, this is more than enough most of the time. Unless you are dealing with a data set that is bigger than 30 megabytes, then it's going to be the options that you can pick from that is higher than 30 megabytes. You're going to need to pay for this as well, obviously. But for experimentations in general, and more importantly, for all the examples for this tutorial here, all the examples that we're going to build throughout the series, 30 megabytes, trust me, is more than enough for you to play with, right? So select 30 megabyte options, and then you are going to click here on Create Database, right? Now, while the database is being created, it usually takes from 5 to 10 seconds, right? I'm going to actually put myself here on the left so you can see what's going on. There's a tool that I would highly encourage you to use throughout the series, which is Redis Insight, right? So Redis Insight is a database visualization / management tool that is freely available from Redis, right? That you can use to, as the name implies, to visualize and manage your Redis database, right? So we're going to use this tool for every time we execute code from our LangChain applications, we're going to use Redis Insight to observe and see what's going on our Redis database. For instance, what keys are being created? What is the data types of these keys? What is the values that are being written there? So for troubleshooting and debugging, even developing purposes, is a very important tool for you to use, right? So the database is currently created here. I currently have Redis Insight installed on my machine. I'm gonna actually make it larger for you to see. If you don't know how to install Redis Insight, I'm gonna put all the links here on the description for you available. If you're a Mac user, for example, you can install from the App Store, or if you're a Brew user, you can install through Brew. You can go directly to Red's website and download from there. There's a bunch of options available for you to use, right? What's going to happen here, I'm going to link that database that we've just created with Redis Insight. How you're going to do this, you are going to click on this button here that is right below the public endpoint for your Redis database. You're going to click on this connect button, and then you are going to be presented here with these side options where you can connect your Redis database either with Redis Insight, Redis CLI, or one of the Redis clients available, right? So the first option is going to be, as you can see here, Redis Insight. Once you click here on Open with Redis Insight, what's going to happen is, I'm going to actually click so you can see it. It's going to open Redis Insight that is already installed on your machine. If not installed, it's going to direct you for download page. But it's going to, if installed, it's going to open the Redis Insight and associate the database with Redis Insight. So as you can see here, it's pop-up message saying database has been added. And if we go back to all the databases that are available to me to use, you're going to see that there's the local one that I was playing before. And then there's the LangChain apps with Redis that I've just created on Redis Cloud. So if you click here, you are going to have access to the complete set of features from that database, right? So as I said, Redis Insight is a very useful tool for you to use when you are developing an application, when you're troubleshooting, debugging, right? And a matter of fact, if you would like to learn more about how Redis Insight works, I've created another video, right, that's basically provides you a deep dive with the most important features of Redis Insight. I'm going to put the link of this video here on the description so you can follow along at your own time. But even for this series by itself, I'm pretty sure that you're going to be able kind of to understand how Redis Insight works. It's pretty simple, right? It's going to present you a list of the keys. Everything in Redis is a bunch of keys stored, right? And you are going to be able to work with the keys available, see the values, and see what specific data is associated with the value. So point is, you are going to be able to follow along even though you've never heard it or used it Redis Insight before, right? So we have our database created on Redis Cloud. We have Redis Insight already connected with that database. So the next step is for us to start developing our applications with LangChain framework, and then we're going to start exploring all the features and capabilities from LangChain with Redis.